Hi, besties. Thank you for joining Giorgio and I this week. Okay, I'm putting one very quick disclaimer. I am in a new space. If you're watching on YouTube, you know that. If you are not watching on YouTube and just listening, there, unbeknownst to me, the new space is right off of the C470 highway in Denver, Colorado. And when I tell you, I have this wonderful view of the mountains with every goddamn semi-truck. I'm going to need y'all to bear with me. This is going to take me probably until I am a week back from BravoCon to fully get this taken care of because, you know, I know this is a shock to y'all. I'm not a sound engineer. As I am moving my own mic around and making even more annoying noise. So if you hear traffic, just know that I have put egg crates in all these giant windows. They are covered with blankets and pillows and still. Okay, there's the disclaimer. Hi, Giorgio. Thanks for joining me. We've had a week.
Hi. Oh, please.
Uh-huh.
Please. The lady at the Exxon gas station when I was on the phone with you yesterday was like, she almost gave me my shit for free because she was just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with you, but God bless. And I was like, thank you. Yeah, it's been a week, but you know what? Tomorrow's Friday. It's all good. We're gonna
make it.
We are almost there.
And also now I'm having some tech issues. Giorgio keeps freezing. Oh, there you are again.
I know you keep doing the same, so I guess this is what it's gonna. So this is what it is today.
This is what it is today.
What did Kristen Cavallari say? So it's gonna be like this. So it's gonna be like this.
Yeah, we are just like, you're frozen. I'm sure I'm frozen for you. And see, then like when it got back to you, you were like gone. And I love like the beauty of like the service I use is like it's recording you locally and recording me locally. So it's still going. So sometimes y'all, like if it sounds like we're confused, it's because we have to just keep going.
Yeah, we're just like dead, like deer in headlights. We're like, yeah. See, it's happening right now.
It's killing me. And you froze. Yeah, you froze again. So here's what we'll do. We're going to keep going. And if I have to use my phone as a personal hotspot, guess what, baby? That's what we're going to do. God help me. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Why do you use Riverside?
Because Zoom makes me nuts. Because I then have to ask people to send me their audio from Zoom. Because, y'all, I may not be an audio engineer, but I go about editing in a slightly professional way where this is so much more than y'all want to know, but it might be interesting for you to know. When I'm editing, I have Giorgio's track and then I have my track. And they are separate tracks. Like, I have to make sure I line them up on a multi-track screen in Adobe Audition. And I literally, like, if maybe there's a background noise on my end when Giorgio's talking, I can edit that out and silence that, and vice versa. So you get a cleaner audio sound when that happens. And Riverside allows that, and the video quality is better. This is clearly not an ad for Riverside, as if you understood why Giorgio was asking why I use Riverside, because yeah. Well, and then when Giorgio and I tried a different one, that was a shit show. Remember that?
Yeah, that one was bad.
It was bad. So it's not been for lack of trying, not trying to be unprofessional, trying to just be the most professional we can. So profesh.
See, I rely on AI to do mine because I can't spend that much time doing that. I just can't.
I don't trust AI enough. I am such a control freak. Are we having therapy? What are we doing? We're recording a podcast.
We should be having therapy because what we're discussing today. I mean, listen, I've been on one today. Apologies in advance.
No, it's understandable.
Everyone's receiving it wrong, and I know why. And that is completely okay. I did not come off very empathetic or that I understand why yes. The answer is yes.
What Georgio's talking about is a social media post he put up today regarding the Monica and LD of it all. Let's start with the investigative work you did to find out that this alleged mistress of Chris Bassett's was totally bullshitting. Y'all, last week, Georgie and I were talking, and he's like, oh my God, this alleged mistress that he and I were speaking about on the last podcast episode, that she contacts him. And she's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and take a phone call with you right now. And so he's like, all right, Caitlin, I gotta go. We are going to have a discussion here. And he recorded the whole thing. He got sent, you got sent quite a few pictures, videos, and you could pick that penis out of the lineup. But it turns out it most likely was not Chris in these videos and photos that she was trying to essentially shop around. And you did that investigative work of discovering that Chris has a tattoo on his leg and no tattoo on his right arm. And the man in the picture she sent you had a tattoo on his right arm. And she was like, oh, it's from a long time ago. He got it, in honor of his daughter. Listen, that was impressive that you figured that all out. Debunked.
Well, so I immediately had red flags because of the fact that this person decided to go on Tasha K first. And if anyone knows Tasha K's platform, it is very salacious. She's had on more mistresses than I can even count. She's been sued by Cardi B. She owes Cardi B $4 million for continuing a narrative that wasn't true. And she sold this girl off and basically used her to get subscriptions for her channel. And when I say subscriptions, I'm talking $12 to subscribe to Tasha's channel. So I was a soldier. I paid the $12. I'm writing it off. But I went in because I was like, well, what is this woman going to say? What is she going to show us? What is the stuff that came across her desk? So I listened to the whole thing. I basically recap it. And that's when the very next day, I think when we wrapped up our episode, I was like, yeah, I got to go. And I spent 3 hours on the phone with this woman that I'll never get back.
No. But
as I got off the phone with her, I was pushing her because her stories weren't lining up, but I couldn't get her to give me anything substantial. And she just kept sending me these nude photos that she knows that I can't do anything with publicly to show like, oh, see? And I wouldn't do that anyway. But like, no. I'm telling you, I saw 2 photos and I was like, these are not the same guy. In my heart, in my soul, that's not the same guy. I don't know if it's Chris. Maybe one of them is, but not both. And then the one arm with the tattoo, that's what, for some reason, it stuck with me all of Friday night and Saturday morning. And I just peeled the internet looking for topless photos of that man because I was like, if he has this tattoo, then I'm backing you up, girlfriend.
And guess what? He didn't have the tattoo.
But to be fair, I feel like I balanced it out. The first time around, I brought a mistress forward. I had her back, right? She validated that. Mm-hmm. I'm proving that it's not always that the mistress is right. So, yes, this is not correct behavior. I do feel that someone, whether it's cast members, I'm not going to allude to any of them, but this smells very sloppy from behind. If you guys really, if I could show you my DMs with this woman and a few other people who have come forward who know this woman. Very interesting story. So all I'm going to say is whoever's got her allegedly onto this is trying to come for Candace. That is for sure. That is one thing I took away very early on. This was definitely more about Candace than it was about Chris.
That's I remember you noting that she really just kept saying how much she disliked Candace. So and
she alleged a lot of things on that call about Candace as well. A lot. So that's what I was like, well, what's this really about then?
Mm-hmm. Well, thank God for that. Again, that investigative journalism on your end. I'm thoroughly impressed. Did you also see that Us Weekly came out with their reality TV issue? I guess is what they're calling it, right? And I feel like some of the quote unquote winners in these categories were rather interesting. They, of course, had Ariana Maddox as the cover star, but they labeled her the breakout star. Did they forget she's been on our TV for a very long time?
Well, she has, but she really broke out this last year. Let's be honest.
True. I have to tell you the one that I disagree with the most, and let me just first. The original is Kyle Richards. That's the category. Now, is Kyle Richards an original for Beverly Hills? Yes. But if we're talking about an OG, and now let me also preface this, I have always liked Kyle Richards. It may not sometimes sound like it, but I've always felt like the minority in liking Kyle Richards. I feel like a lot of people don't, at least that I hear of. If we are going with housewives that are still on their respective shows, and I know this is not going to sound like a normal thing for me to say, I think it should have been Teresa Giudice, period. She's more of an original. I mean, table flipping, you don't, no one associates table flipping, things like that. I mean, I'm sorry, I think it should have been Teresa. Maybe she wasn't available.
I think, if I'm honest, they gave it to Kyle because I think she's going to have a season, if you will, and they're just trying to amp up the attention around certain people. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean,
because now everyone's talking about, I mean, not that this would be shocking by any means, but now there's these reports and chatter around, oh, this whole thing is fake, the separations just for the storyline. And I'm like, well,
I found out like a close friend of mine has how do I put this without giving anyone away? Has a close family member. I texted this to you over the weekend, but I know you were like too busy to talk to me, I guess.
I was talking to a mistress, but okay.
That knows and grew up with the Richards sisters. And it was really interesting. There wasn't anything like over the top juicy, but I found out some really interesting things. Yeah, it was just kind of fascinating. I know from what I understand, some people that are friends with them have not always been the biggest fans of Mauricio. They don't hate him or anything. They just haven't always been like gung ho about him. And this person who's known them for a long time thinks that the Morgan Wade thing is fully just a storyline.
Of course it is. She's on the show.
Right.
She's on the show. That validated that.
Right. But, just to give some further confirmation, I just don't want to like give this person away or anything. And it just some interesting things about Kathy. Good things. She didn't have anything bad to say about Kathy at all. In fact, she had wonderful things to say about her. And I wouldn't say she had bad things to say about any of those girls. Just like further validation of like what we have always thought is basically what I got. Yeah.
I think the whole thing is just a little warped because I think Kathy sits in a different tier, and I'm not saying this in a shady way, but she sits in a different tier than Kyle, And I think that has always been, maybe it started off as a point of inspiration and motivation for them, but it's clear that they're playing the Hollywood game now, and
They've always been playing it.
I get it. I get thrown off when they play the like dumb card on the same breath. Like, if you're gonna do it and just go on with it. I respect that. Whatever. But then to turn around and be like, look, I really would respect some privacy around this.
Well, the whole Hollywood card, they've been very ingratiated with that for a very long time. I mean, I guess their mother had a TV in every single room of their home because she wanted her girls to be on the TV so bad. It was just interesting stuff that, I don't know. And then who else was on here? Jenna Lyons got the Gate Crasher, which I felt was kind of, I feel like that was weird. And then I know, I was like, what the, okay. And then Captain Jason Chambers got the Guardian because of how he handled that situation where there was a near sexual assault on Below Deck, which thank God that he and Aisha both handled that the way they did. And something I forgot to mention was that Rachel auctioned off the Tom Tom hoodies and the lightning bolt necklace for all of that money to go toward a charitable cause. It's a good cause, very grassroots for mental health. And I mean, listen, it was what was she going to do? Hang on to those things forever? Like, no.
I think that's the smartest thing she could have done.
I was totally on board with her doing that. But everyone's been confused because they were like, oh, didn't she give Andy one of those hoodies? And she gave him a different hoodie because do you not remember when Andy was like, this is like a double XL? And when she gave it to him on Watch What Happens Live that night. But part of where I'm saying people were like, this is confusing because in the description of the hoodies on eBay, she was auctioning them off. It says, the hoodie that I boldly gave Andy on the night my entire world turned upside down. Her descriptions of things were very bizarre to me. She should have just left it. Don't describe it. Like, what the people who are bidding on that shit,
they know what it is. Yeah. No random person's going to buy that. No one randomly is going to be like, oh,
what's this? Let me pay $8,000.
What's this Tom Tom?
Exactly. So that was quite interesting. Am I forgetting anything? I'm always forgetting something. I know I am. Oh well.
Well, I mean, nothing huge, but I will say the Roni reunion preview has come out, and hi Jessel, if you're watching.
Yes.
Hi. I love the voice you found. Hi,
girl,
Pavitt as well. Pavitt, did you see that Pavitt did a full travel guide on his trip to Vietnam? Food, his flight, how to eat on the flight, perfection. These two, they have a future with Bravo. I'm telling you right now.
Well, and she got, I mean, how many photos were there for Rolling Stone? They said this is the
3 different looks. Yeah.
And she looked fabulous. Oh my God. And then
oh my God.
They didn't even name Erin. They didn't even like write her name. They said the
they said ex-Trumper or something.
That's the name for her castmate. Listen, I thought we were going to love Cy and Erin. That seemed like it was those were the, Erin's supposed to be the force multiplier, the top dog. It ain't the case. It ended, our favorites all ended up being Jessel. I loved Uba. I
love Uba. She's a gazelle that will eat these women up. Do you understand? First of all, she is like, people in the beginning were like, oh, she's Uba's cousin, or not Uba's cousin. She's Chanel Ayan's cousin, so she's going to do the same type of thing. No, she didn't. Not at all. She was perfection. And I do love Brynn. I know people are on the fence with her, but I do love Brynn.
Like, Brynn is giving us the Sonia energy we need. I don't care what anybody says about it being this put on and about her being too over the top. You need that fun kind of kooky character. Whereas like with Sonia, it was like she filled that role of the kooky rich lady, right? But Brynn is like Sonia back then before she met JP Morgan, and she's just looking for JP Morgan. You hear what I'm saying? And listen, she could get a hot.
I mean, from a like story perspective, I mean, yes.
And of course, we all love Jenna. I mean, I wish she would.
Well, she's not coming back. There's no way.
That's what I'm hearing too. That she liked it.
She doesn't seem interested. I just don't. She never. I honestly, I think she knew going into this was a 1-season thing, and that I think someone even pointed out, I don't remember who it was, but they said that it was clear that possibly the show used Jenna to anchor the show to get the viewers because they needed a name that was recognizable. Yeah. But that after that, it would be like sayonara.
Fair.
But
yeah, I mean,
you never know.
Nope. I thought she was a fun way to balance it out, though, you know? And I mean, I dig it. I'm for it. She's not our first gay female housewife, but it's still nice to see some more representation than just, you know, we have our girls in Miami, but unless I'm forgetting anyone off the top of my head, I don't recall anyone else. Unless someone that wasn't saying that they were bisexual, but like someone who was like, no, I am a lesbian. This is my, you know.
Julia is the first lesbian housewife. I don't really know why they forgot that when this show started, but yeah. So
apparently, can't wait for Miami too. Oh my God.
It's gonna come on the same night as Beverly Hills. My Wednesdays are gonna be rocked.
Oh my God, yeah. So we're doing Salt Lake City today, but I have a feeling, yeah, we're going to work that out, friends. Something else, because I don't know how we're going to keep an eye on social media. We'll keep an eye on my social media, which there is a name change that is coming possibly even today. I'll put out a video. I'll do all the things. But Georgio and I have talked about it, and I've talked about doing this maybe with any of my other friends there in case Georgio's busy, because it's going to be such a shit show at BravoCon, and we want to give some of the tea, give, you know, content for everyone, because there's only so many things to go to, so many things at so much time in the day. What we might be doing is a live Q&A, maybe each night. Maybe it could be while I am getting ready. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Keep an eye, like I said, on social media. We're going to see what we can do, because I don't know. Of course, the sound will probably be about the same as it is in this new space I'm in. Don't get me started. Okay. I started. Let's get into Salt Lake City, shall we?
Oh boy.
Okay, so let's just I know. Okay, so Angie is sending the invites for Greek Easter, and I'm just going to point out, in case you didn't notice by Georgio's last name, Takounakis, Georgio is Greek. So I have a feeling there are some things Georgio can validate for what all is happening here. So listen, not since Lisa Rinna at the Beverly Hills reunion have we seen so much attention be given to one bunny on Bravo. Okay. Oh my God. Giving a run for
that's the Lisa Rinna bunny. It's grown up now. It's grown up.
I feel so old.
Yeah, don't you?
So fast. So Angie's sending the invites via this bunny to the ladies for Greek Easter, and first they stop Whitney on the street, which Whitney, okay, it's like she saw already. She's like, oh my God, is that Justin? Justin, what are you wearing?
I honestly want to know. I want to know how many times it took her to get that shot. That was not her first try. That was not realistic whatsoever. She was just like, oh.
Oh.
Like she didn't see a big bunny as she walked down the sidewalk. Come on.
Exactly. Then it goes up to Mary's car, and Mary just literally says nothing. She's like, and then Lisa is. It was so perfect for Lisa. I'm sorry. She cracks me up. She was in confessional and she's like, with Meredith, with Angie. Oh, I love this.
That's my baby gorgeous. I love it.
her.
Oh my God.
I
want to squeeze her. Like,
she didn't have like a full freak out. She just,
she's like, what the fuck is going on? What is this?
The bunny shows up at Monica's back door, and it's sitting in the back of Heather's car and scares the living shit out of her. I mean, at least Heather has like that sixth sense that she turns around to look. This is a problem. I shouldn't even say this.
Oh,
I don't look in my back seat often
no.
enough.
I always do, but let me just tell you, not when I first get in the car. Unless it's at night. At night I do. During the day I don't. This was a daytime shot. Things would have gone really horrible for whoever that bunny was. Because I would have drove off, looked in my rearview mirror, and lost it. So it would have either been I pull over and beat your ass, or it's a vanilla sky and we both drive off this ledge. I am not the one today, bunny.
Can I explain? All that's in my head is of you killing that spider. And listen, no.
See? I wish we could roll the tape back. Let me tell you something. If I could do that to a spider, if you're in my car and you're dressed like a bunny, I don't think you're giving me an invite to anything. I think you're trying to be a serial killer.
Listen, y'all, what I may have to do because I took it out of the audio on that episode. How about I go ahead and insert? I'm going to have to go dig now.
You're going to need to do a trigger warning for that screaming, because that is trigger
warning. Turn down the volume. I am inserting it right here. I'm going to make a note for myself. And we'll just get it back on for YouTube, because when I tell y'all, that was one of the funniest things. I don't know, maybe it was only that funny to people who know us, but I was in tears. It was so, oh my God, it was so fucking hilarious. But there, because at the very least, she's going to say, look, here are the numbers. Here's what's up. I mean, Bethany was, well, exposed as well. What was the name of that TikTok TikToker? Why am I using the word star so much? Am I okay?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on. Ah! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Oh my God. I am so sorry. I can't do a spider. I don't care how small that fucker is. Oh my God. Let me just click. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Anything else? Oh my God, Caitlin, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna pee my pants. I literally almost lose my shit. Oh my God. Okay. Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes. I'm totally fine. I swear. It's gone. I killed it. I'm sorry, guys out there that are gonna come after me for killing a spider. That is the one thing. I will help a fly out of my house any day of the week. But you're dead. You're in my house. You're done. Excuse me. Gosh. What the fuck? I swear to God.
Oh. I'm going.
I swear, this is this a joke? Okay.
Okay.
Where were we?
But that is exactly what would have happened to that bunny. And listen, you don't want to meet Giorgio in a dark alley, especially if you're a spider.
No, you don't.
Um,
I'll stab you with scissors. Is apparently what I'll do with you. Oh my god! If people clipped this up, they could totally make me look like an asshole. By the way,
Like a
just
serial killer.
stab you, dark alley. Don't find me in a dark alley. Scissors.
I murder spiders. That's the part that they would get you for, is killing the spider. Forget it.
Oh, I'm
Everything
sure
else.
there's a big group that's probably really upset with me. So
You and me both, honey.
I'm like,
Oh well, life goes on. So Whitney and Justin go to dinner. I mean, it's typical marriage problems. You know, Justin's telling her he's overwhelmed now that he's back at work, and she's like, "Are you fucking serious?" There was a morning where I guess the kids are fighting. She's overcooking the bacon, so the fire alarm's going off. Rocky is peeing all over the couch, and he's just staring at his phone. I'll tell you what it was. Because he's a husband, you'll know what I mean. Unless you're that husband, he's definitely on Instagram. The reason he couldn't hear you is because he has the volume up so high, scrolling those videos, he couldn't hear anything happening. What is it with those men who, Giorgio, are you one of them that does it? Do you have your, no?
no, because you know why? I would not. No, I can't have all that chaos going on. No, we can't have you on the phone with that shit in the background. If I have this, like, go somewhere else. Like, if he's gonna do that respectfully, you need to be out of sight at least. Because if you're standing there and she is dealing with all that, to be fair to her, I would be really not a nice person to you.
Same. Same. Also, Justin apparently doesn't wear his wedding ring anymore. And listen,
what was that?
Yeah.
Did they touch on that somewhere else? I missed something because they just grazed over it and he didn't even say anything. He was just like, yeah.
Right.
What?
Now, there are some men who just don't wear wedding rings, and that's fine. But if you have always worn your wedding ring and then you're not wearing it, you know who else did that?
Mario.
He stopped wearing his ring. And you know, because he was fucking someone at the tennis club. Yeah. Yeah, so then Whitney's just like, growing pains hurt, and I just feel like I go through it alone. And then all he says to her is, don't. Excuse me? Don't.
Just don't.
You know,
it reminds me of Kim Richards when she's like, do me a favor, don't. He's like, don't, just don't.
Sure. I mean, it was like that, it was one of those moments for me personally, you know, when Mary had turned to the camera after the women were acting like nutty and she was like, women. That one time, and it's making me turn to the camera and go, men. Which, by the way, Mary on Watch What Happens Live, rejecting Z-Way's fish sandwich, because Mary can't play along for anything for the life of her. And then she was body shaming Heather, saying that, oh, yeah, I don't think Heather's corset's real in her confessional because I don't think Gucci comes in size 14. That's not true, actually.
No, it does. It absolutely does. Here's the thing with Mary. Mary has a love-hate. She obviously, there's something about being on the show she loves. Okay, let's just be honest. You can't say that she hates it to the degree, because if she did, she wouldn't be anywhere near it. But I also think that Mary is a very socially awkward human, and I find her more understandable when she's one-on-one. When she's in group settings, I lose her, and then she's like, she goes on these tangents, and I think that's part of her subconscious way of defending her inability to interact in social environments. So she tends to focus on things and deliver strong opinions, but I don't. I specifically the scene that we'll talk about, but when she has that moment with her son, I know a lot of people looked at that like, oh, that's weird. You didn't even know you're. I understood why she felt that way.
Oh,
I don't know.
absolutely.
I have a little bit of a soft spot for Mary, and I like, not because I defend all of her behavior. I know she can be an asshole, but
I'm
I
cool
don't
with her
know.
until she's body shaming people. That's the part
Totally.
that I don't like.
That
She
was
was doing it to
unnecessary.
Monica, She was in a lighter way than what she did to Heather. Um, excuse me, so sorry. And she was doing it in a lighter way than she did it to Heather, but still, like, let's not, you know. Okay, so then Lisa and Angie go make candles. Listen, I love that the housewives are always trying to find an activity. But something about making candles, it just bothered me because I can't smell them through the TV. And I just want to know, you're saying it smells like the Old Testament. Well, listen, the Old Testament and the New Testament probably have two different smells. I want to know what it smells like. And then I was just getting annoyed. Maybe because I am so nosy. I just want to know what they're smelling.
I wanted to smell the one that apparently smelled just like bacon.
Yeah, I'm interested. I really am. Like, I love me some candles, but see, I get a lot of people think whatever. Bath and Body Works candles are like my jam. Okay, I fucking love them, but I know there are a lot of people who are like, oh, they're so cheap and they're plastic, and I'm like, well, what do you think is in the water you're drinking every day? Okay, let's just start there. Are you off gassing your water? I don't even know what I'm saying. And then when Angie shows up, and Lisa's like, I feel like some people like pouring hot wax on themselves. Like it's a fetish, but not mine. Okay, good. Good to know. I just love the random shit Lisa says sometimes because Lisa can't sit in silence. You know what I mean? Someone must be talking at all times or she can't take it. That's why she doesn't stop talking on the phone.
This is why we cannot sync on getting her on my podcast. It would be a 3-day podcast between her and I. We ramble, and there would be no silence. There would be no gaps. There would be no awkwardness. Nothing. We would just be 3-day long podcast, and then just not edit it and just put it out like that, and just charge people $12 to come watch.
Listen, maybe you'd get some of that BravoCon money back.
Maybe.
So they go to like make the candles, and Angie, did you not? I know you noticed this because you grew up doing this in the same environment I did. Angie gets frankincense, myrrh, and clove. This is supposed to be Easter, not Christmas.
Nope. All of that smells for everything.
That, like, those are y'all. So if you don't know this, you probably do. I don't know. It's like I feel like Christianity's like taught so much that like frankincense and myrrh were used for funerals to cover up the smell of dead bodies.
Mm-hmm. We like that.
Combine it with clove, though. Oh my god.
Now it's a party.
Okay. So then the employee notices them and is like, "Are you Jack Barlow's mom?" "Yes, I am. So I'm really close friends with Jack." "Oh my gosh, I love that. Did you know that Jack was going on a mission?" "Yes." "Did you know before me?" "I knew before you." "You did? Are you kidding me?" And then in confessional, Lisa's like, "You know you're out of the loop when the girl at the candle shop knows your son is going on a mission before you do. Let's face it, I'm not winning any Mother of the Year awards here." I was like, oh, this girl. If she was hoping to get in with Jack.
Can I just tell you, when that camera quickly glanced over at that girl, I was like, why do I feel like this girl's going to be a part of the scene somehow? I don't know why.
All red.
Yeah, and I was like,
it happened to me. It would.
But it was so obvious though that she was literally pulled by production and was like, "Oh, do you know?" And they're like, yeah, let's do that. She can come up and talk to us and say that.
Oh,
And then it was
she
like,
probably told production. I bet
totally.
she
That's why
told
I'm
them,
saying
yeah.
they were like, oh, well, can you go up and like
Yeah.
go talk to her?
Oh my god. It was that was so funny to me. So they make the candles and Angie tells Lisa who all she invited to Greek Easter and that she wanted to be inclusive to Monica because of how she felt in Palm Springs and but she's not inviting Meredith. Fair enough. And Lisa
Mhm.
says that she thinks Monica repeating what Meredith was talking about is just as bad as Meredith saying she knows things about Sean, and that Monica is saying that she knows the source who was bragging about quote unquote hooking up with Sean is worse because now she's doubling down on this. And Lisa says Monica is definitely lying, and Angie feels like Monica isn't really her friend, just to sum all of that up. Okay, because I haven't done Salt Lake City in 2 weeks. I'm like a disaster right now, my friends. I am getting my shit together. I swear to God. It's just a lot right now. This rumor, I have to talk about this for just a second because I know I'm not the only one who found that Angie and Sean's response to it was a little odd. Because here's the thing. Now, I don't expect everyone to respond to things the same way I do. But I'm going to tell you what. Number one, and I can't imagine for anyone who's a part of the LGBTQ community to not. So if I'm tired of it, there you go. For storylines, for it to be such a terrible thing if someone's gay. Why are we still doing this on this network? Okay. We got to stop with that. That's number one. Number two, in my eyes, if he most likely has been getting this throughout his entire adulthood because of the job he has, which is
Mhm.
ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
I understand that he was upset about it because it's one thing for people to be assuming things, and it's another thing for it to be on television, right? But they had to have known something like this was going to come up because there are the bigoted assholes who assume that a man who likes to touch hair and can style hair must be gay, right? That's we have to assume that they had an idea something like that would come up in some capacity, especially if you've been dealing with that type of bullshit your entire time with your career. What I would have liked to see is for them to laugh it off because to me, if someone's telling like, oh yeah, I heard some guy was bragging about hooking up with your partner, I'm gonna be like, okay, sure. Like, come on. If I don't find any truth, it's like the devastation is what was odd and it didn't read well.
The devastation, though, I think, first of all, I think, yes, to your point, but also, I would I would have the same reaction. You didn't just say that there's a rumor out there that your husband's gay. You also added that there's a ton of gay boys running around Salt Lake bragging about the fact that they're banging your husband. So if she would have laughed that off, that could have also made her look suspicious, like she's just in denial, because then people would be like, okay, girl, really? But she's looking at it from the angle of like, wow, that's so specific. Like, that's actually like not just an assumption rumor, right? If this is, oh, you're saying there's a line of gays in Salt Lake that are entangled with my husband? That's pretty specific. So yeah, I would be like, excuse me.
Yeah, I think I just now do I think there was any winning in how she responded? No, because as I've kind of said this before on this show, on not on this show, on these shows. When something is untrue, supposed to be untrue, or a rumor is brought up that whoever it is that it's about, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. In my opinion, they act nonchalant. It's not enough, right? They act like this that you should have laughed it off. There's not really any right answer, but what I do know is, and I'm saying this now, having seen the way a lot of other people took it in, because I can only go off of my read when I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, this something is just off about it to me. It doesn't, and the way Angie responded when she first heard it. Now listen, I my face may be reacting the same way soon because friends, I got my Botox done yesterday. So I may not have a lot of movement going on. myself. So maybe that was her surprised face, or maybe that was her. Because I guess my point is, especially from coming from the position that I worked as a hairstylist, I was around, there were plenty of straight men in that space. In fact, I worked with more straight men in salons than I did with gay men in salons. So the assumption is just like old and tired, right? I guess maybe it's just because I'm aware of that. Maybe some people don't seem to have grown in their ability to believe men can be interested in things that are seemingly feminine and not allow that into the space. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of tired. But I like the way Heather kind of explained it away too when she was in confessional. She was like, "Are you kidding me? This is Utah. If a man wears a cardigan to a
Yeah.
family reunion, then everyone says, 'Oh, must be gay.'" Which,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I get it. Like, and I think that's kind of, I don't know. I would have liked to see that direction. I feel like there's something more going on. And maybe that leans toward when we eventually see, every time I see this on the commercials, on the ads, I nearly fall out of my chair when we see Lisa go, "Basically, she thinks you're in the Greek mafia." Maybe there's something tied in with that. That's more like every time I see that, I cackle. I can't take it. I just.
This is very.
Oh, like Lisa Barlow's gold. Okay, so then we do go to Mary's house. And I have to say, well, first, it was just very Mary of the way this all went down. Because she's saying to her son, "Why am I hearing rumors that you're married? Is it true?" And he goes, "I don't know. First of all, son, if you are old enough to be getting married, sit up, take your hand off your mouth, talk to me. We're talking about something that you've not told me while you're living in my home. If you're an adult living outside of my home that I'm providing for you, and apparently also your wife. No, we are going to have a conversation. Sit up and talk to me. I'm not normally like that. I don't mean to sound so Southern, and be respectful because, yeah." And she's like, "You don't know? Yes or no? Maybe sort of." She's like, "Lord, please let it be no. What is it, son?" "I mean, kinda, yeah. Like, I went to the courthouse." She's like, "Lord, have mercy. And where was I when this was happening? You snuck and did it?" And he was like, "Yeah, low key. It's been almost like a year." And she's saying in confessional that they both live in their house, and they don't see each other much. And she's like, "We kind of have our own wings." And she's like, and one day, like, they were getting dressed and he was rushing to go do something, and he was dressed up nice and she was dressed up nice, but they were running, like full-blown running with all their might. But I didn't know what they were going go get married. So she tells him, he's her only son and she doesn't have anybody else, just him. I mean, he knows better, but I was kind of waiting for him to be like, "Well, what about dad, grandfather, great-grandfather?" Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it can never be forgotten.
No.
I can't. And she's crying. We've never seen Mary this emotional before.
Mm-mm. It really, it got me for a second.
It humanized her more than any moment ever has. Because, that got me when she goes, "Sorry, my baby, don't ever be afraid to tell me anything." And I was like, yeah. But she doesn't think he's ready for marriage, to provide for both of them.
Well, she would know. She's paying for everything.
Heather calls her daughter, and she jokes with her about coming back to Utah to go on a mission, and tells her Jack Barlow's going on a mission, and her daughter's surprised. And in confessional, Heather's like, "I see all of Ashley's friends, and they're all either on missions or married, and she's in a string bikini in Santa Barbara." And I'm like clapping. Thank heavens, because I was thinking and seeing the world in a much different way than when I was her age, or she's seeing it a different way. I've read my journal, and it's humiliatingly embarrassing. Just like, I love God so much. I want to dedicate my whole life to serving his people, and I just want to serve and be the best human being I can be and marry the best and most righteous man so I can have the best and most righteous children. And just repeating back the images I've been drilled with my whole life. And I feel like Ashley's the version of me if I hadn't been raised in the church. And I love that she's supportive of that. Yeah. But she's saying she doesn't know how to support Jack and all this stuff about him going on a mission that she's so morally opposed to.
I'm gonna say I did say this. I thought that whole scene was wild, where Heather's just like going on and on about Jack. I'm sorry. Listen,
Leave it alone.
I understand why Lisa wants nothing to do with her around this, because she doesn't need that. What do you want her to do? You want her to hear your side of it and then what? Go back to Jack and she didn't even know he was doing it.
And he's an adult.
Yes.
What's he gonna do?
You want her to cause a scene?
Well, at the end of the day, all it's doing is scaring Lisa more. I can't imagine that, that's... Listen. So then Meredith goes to Mary's house, and I swear to God, Mary's house is so wackadoodle the way it is decorated. It's like a mixture of like a 13-year-old got a hold of things.
Well,
kind of. 13-year-old was given her grandmother's house. Okay. She wasn't 13, but you know what I'm saying. And Mary's still in her pajamas because she was like, I had a long day, and just straight up tells Meredith that she literally just goes, everybody knows he's married and I don't.
Yeah, Lisa Barlow tweeted that she heard about it last year at Bravo. Oh.
Lisa. And so they're talking about how the women in the group haven't grown and it just feels monotonous. Like they keep walking in the same shoes, but don't you think you want taller boots? Listen, Mary is a fashionista all day, every day.
Gotta give it to her.
So they're talking about eventually, sorry, I must have skipped something in these notes, about, Meredith saying she would never be talking about someone's sexuality and all of that. And here's the thing. I don't think sober Meredith would, at least not where cameras are around. Let's put it that way. Because how incredibly hypocritical would that be, considering how upset she was, not only about Brooks' sexuality being questioned.
The same thing.
But now it's now that he's open and cool with it, fine. And she's a host on the GLAAD
committee, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say board. I don't, thing. How did she get that gig? I'm not saying that she shouldn't be one to do it. I don't know. It was just interesting. I guess, I don't know. Is it something that like you have to?
Well, I think she's always done a lot of work within the LGBTQ space. Mm-hmm. So I think when she got on the show, I think after the whole Jen Shaw making those claims made her more of a ally, I guess, because of her stance on the reasoning why it was inappropriate, which it was, to be completely fair. But I think now the difference is, let's not mince things. Meredith is an ally, but Meredith also hangs around a lot of gays. So imagine cocktails with Meredith and her gays, and the tea flows. So yeah, I agree with you. I think sober Meredith wouldn't say it, right, but drunk Meredith hanging out with her gays would absolutely say that.
I mean, the thing is, she absolutely alluded to something when she said,
totally.
You want me to talk about her husband?
The rumors.
And Mary brings up the Easter brunch and says she won't go if Meredith's not going, and she wasn't invited, but she's going to be in LA for the GLAAD Awards. So Meredith says they're talking about how like the disagreements in the group go, and she's like, Meredith says, when you have disagreements, you talk like adults about it, not you're a whore. And she gets this super uncomfortable smile and laugh afterward. Like she definitely felt weird saying whore to Mary in Mary's house.
Totally. She was not. And her poor jaw.
Oh,
Her poor jaw. What was that? I've never seen anyone say whore like that.
So Angie's prepping for the Easter lunch. And I'm just looking where we're at here, sorry. And she's getting everything ready, and there's a fat stacks of cash because they're going to do the Zeb. Now I'm gonna fuck it up. I was so ready to say this. The Zebiko. No, I messed it up again. I know you can say it. The Zebiko. Zebiko. Yeah. Motherfucker. And here I was going to make fun of them for.
You said it right. You're saying it. No, you're saying it right. It's just it's hard because it's like certain things you like kind of ease off of the letter in some of it. So it throws you off, but yeah. So I got a lot of questions about that part of it. Please. That is a thing. We've mainly done that. We do that at like mainly any Greek celebration, like but weddings. Mostly weddings. And yes, we do pull out that many ones because it essentially it's odd, I guess, because it's like, but it's to basically like say prosperity and like
abundance, yeah,
more will come into your life, the abundance, and like calling that in through like that. So that was I will say this before we get into the scene around Greek Easter. I will say that I really appreciated very much because there's a lot of things in our culture like. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I hear you.
Oh, you just went out. I don't. There's just like a weird button. No, it's fine. So I appreciate that that production editors did not overly caricaturize, if that kind of makes sense. I guess like there's certain aspects of our traditions that yes, they are funny and like My Big Fat Greek Wedding of it all, which I appreciate those films. But I was a little bit concerned that this was going to be something like that, where they're going to play into like these like things, and they didn't. They actually respected that part of it, and I found that to be nice.
Yeah, there's a way to bring in other cultures on this show. And I think I keep saying these shows, excuse me. And I think it's appreciated by the entire audience, like when Crystal was, bringing in Chinese culture and, no one's upset about it is the thing. And I think as long as they're doing it in a way that, hey, the audience, it's a mixed audience, it's not just a bunch of white women sitting at their house in Missouri. It's like people want to see themselves. That is the thing. At the end of the day, representation is so incredibly important, as we all know. And I like that we did get some of Angie's backstory because I did find her life story thus far quite interesting. It sounds like a lot. So as she's getting ready for the lunch, she's setting everything up. Mary calls her. And she says, I'm calling to let you know that I won't be able to make it. I have to go to my home in Vegas because we had a flood about a year ago and everything just got done. And Angie's like, well, I'm so sad. And I'll be honest, I was really looking forward to you. She's like, well, don't take it personal. I don't. I just kind of feel bad. I do. That's real. Well, it's nice to know you've got feelings after all. Even Mary cracked up at that. Okay. Like,
yeah.
And then, so we get to meet Angie's dad, and it cracked me up because, how do I put this? He absolutely did hug her like an Eastern European man hugs you. Um, just come here, smack on the back. And I'm able to say this because I have family members who are Eastern European. So I'm not, this is from my own experience as well. I'm not making fun. And so he grew up in Greece, and they lost her mom when she was only 44, and there were 7 children. Deep breath. Okay. So I thought I was going to have to ask you about this, but Google told me that when Heather brought a bowl of 9 lemons, there's no significance from what I saw with the Greek culture or Greek Easter having to do with lemons. She was just giving a nod to Shannon Storm's boudoir. That's it. Apparently. Who also, I'm sure you saw Shannon's little video she did walking down the street with Archie. She made sure to show us Archie.
Absolutely. That's what people care about.
Archie's alive and well. Okay. All right. And Heather's saying this interaction is what we needed from, personally, I'm saying we needed from them to make it not a big deal, I guess. Heather says to Sean, "Where'd you get your clothes to fit so well?" And he goes, "I don't know, my gay boyfriend." And that's how you just make it a nothing thing. There. That's it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I guess a lot of people thought Sean was the Greek one. I guess he could be. I wouldn't say one way or the other that I thought he looked or didn't look like he was. But I guess he's not.
I have cousins that look like Sean. So
yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I know, like, true blue, same Macedonians who are quite literally blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yes.
So that's just the way it is. And then Monica shows up with her 4 girls, and her mother wants to go by LD, also known as Linda, and she starts hitting on Angie's dad, and Monica's like, "Absolutely fucking not."
That was funny though. It was cute.
Okay, this had me cracking up, I have to tell you. So when Angie gathers everyone to thank them for coming, and she wants to share the story of Christ's resurrection because he was mocked and ridiculed and crucified, and he managed to rise up 3 days later. And I think if Christ can rise above it, then we too shall rise again. Angie, he didn't like rise above the haters to pull the tomb, come out of the tomb and roll that rock. He wasn't rising above the haters. Like,
can I have to say this. I know that a lot of people have found that to be like hilarious because I died laughing. Let me just, I have to tell you, Angie is, I would not be surprised if she was a relative of mine. Any Greek person who knows anything about Greek cousins knows that Angie is the Greek cousin or the Greek auntie that is exactly that. She will make something about herself and make her Jesus. Somehow she is the one that was crucified.
I mean, it just was hysterical. I'm like, I don't know. She was like trying to turn Christ's resurrection into like a Beyonce song or something, like about, you know what I mean? That's like all I could think. Oh my God. I'm going to get in so much trouble with people for that. Now, all of my mind is like, all my 12 disciples, all my 12 disciples. Okay, I gotta stop. I swear I have not been smoking weed. I have not been drinking. I am just my brain, okay? Wow. Because also then Heather's like, I feel in confessional, I feel like Angie is kind of making herself Jesus in this story, which I guess that would make Meredith Brutus. And then she goes, Brutus, Judas. I was thinking Caesar. Look, I've lost my religion. Oh, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, Father, forgive me. Oh my God.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, I think Caesar, honey, you're confusing Shakespeare is what it was. So they do the prayer and they get to eating. And can I just tell y'all, I'm pretty sure if I really think about it, my favorite food, period, is Greek food. If you ask me, do you want to go get some Greek? It does not matter. If I was thinking I wanted a cheeseburger 10 minutes ago, yes, Greek food. Something about Greek food, you feel better after eating it. It's Mediterranean diet is the healthiest diet. It truly is. Y'all,
It
there's
really
something to it. I
is.
always feel good, even if I have stuffed my face after eating Greek food. I'm obsessed. This was not an ad by the Greek Food Council. There probably isn't one. I would be the president of it if I could be. And then we get the cut of Meredith at the GLAAD Awards, and Lisa brings up the conversation that they had about Monica and Meredith. And listen, as they're going off, Heather and Lisa walking off. I love to see that our housewives have been paying attention to the Orange County, seasons of past, because Lisa decides not to cut the bow off that bunny cake. Okay, we get lots of references here.
Mm-hmm.
And then Heather pulls Lisa aside to talk, and she says that she didn't know that this little black rain cloud was hanging over your head for the last year regarding Lisa being triggered by the Angie K and Sean rumors for her own stuff from last year when they were saying that she was, giving Bobos for basketball tickets thing, which, by the way, I think not a single one of them believed. Even Meredith didn't believe that. Like, she was just trying to get her back for the hot mic moment. That's it.
Totally.
And Heather thought they were fine now, but Lisa's saying that they're kind of surface, and Heather brings up Jack's mission, and Lisa doesn't want to talk about it, especially with Heather, because Heather had a different experience with all of it, and she feels that she needs to be in a different space on this with Jack where she's supporting him. You and I touched on this, that we're totally in agreement. Like, look, I know Heather needs the storyline. They need to drive this, whatever, but listen, Heather, stay out of it. Just stay out of it. I can't help it. I like Heather, but I just want her to stay out of it. That's one thing. Just leave the kids out of it, even though he's like an adult.
Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't have been a whole thing.
No, I agree. So this is where I have a feeling you and I are going to have a little bit of disagreement on something here, because I know you love Angie. I am just going to start here by saying I do not think Angie should have pulled Monica aside at this lunch. I think it should have, if she wanted to have a real conversation where she could have just laid it all out, she needed to go grab coffee, go have lunch with Monica. This was the wrong time if she didn't want the children around for it. Now, that's just where I'm starting here, okay? I think the way Angie was speaking to her, I think she was being really nice to her. I don't think she was being rude. Not that, she didn't have a right to be, if I'm honest. Whatever we think about the rumors, but she tells Monica that she was hurt because she says, you had put out the rumors that you thought Meredith was speaking about. And Monica says, but I said that to you because I had your back and I was there for you 100%. I told you about it right away. This shit was being said. I don't believe that. No, Whitney made her tell Angie. If I'm recalling correctly, did she not?
She did.
Mm-hmm.
She did.
I want y'all to bear this in mind. I think Monica is fantastic for this show. I do
too.
Okay.
I want to preface this as well, because I think a lot of people are mixed up. Because I have a comment or an opinion about one thing does not mean I want people fired or thrown off the show. I never once said that. So yes, I just want to preface. I do like Monica. No, I have all the compassion for you. I really, really do. So this is not about that.
You know what? Let's throw in that preface. If we disagree with someone, or even if we call someone an asshole, if we say someone's acting like a garbage person, that doesn't mean we don't think they should be on the show.
No, not at
Unless someone is,
all.
quite frankly, unless someone is racist, homophobic, um, anything that's like sexual assault, the egregious things, right? Those things, yes, you're not allowed on the show. This stuff, oh my gosh, yes. So basically they're just going back and forth on this. If I'm honest, it was just like, well, Whitney asked, she tries to say again that like Whitney asked and that's why she told Whitney first. And Angie's point is, you're repeating it. And then Monica says that she didn't actually hear the rumor from Meredith, but she says she heard it from the Salt Lake City streets. And she's just like, that telling you that rumor's out there, Angie. And she confirms as much in confessional and says it's been circulating for years. So back over to Lisa and Heather. Lisa is asking Heather why she cares about Jack's mission, and Heather thinks Lisa should know the good and the bad of it all. But Lisa's like, her path has been so good for her since converting to Mormonism, and she just wants to focus on supporting Jack. Fine. If that's where you're at, just leave it alone. But she won't, because and then Heather's asking her why Lisa didn't read her book. And that's when Lisa's like, wait, so is this about the book? About me not reading the book? And Sean and John Barlow are sitting by Angie's dad. What's the name of that instrument? I forgot to even look that up.
Oh God, couldn't even tell you.
And he's like just chilling, playing music. It's like 4 different parties are happening right now. And Lisa's like saying her church is different. Basically, she could wear what she was currently wearing to her church. And Heather's like, what? Now, here's the thing. From what I understand, Mormonism, it seems a bit more black and white than, my experience with religion was like, say, Christianity growing up. And that was a way people could interpret it differently. But I don't remember, like, you could drink alcohol, you could drink Diet Coke, you could drink coffee, all of that. You could show your shoulders. So I think I get a little confused when all of this is going on, is basically my whole entire point. Okay, before anyone comes for me, I feel like I'm just worn out of people coming for us. I'm tired. Like, can y'all not, like, my toddler comes for me enough. Just like, do you know what this kid will do? He will just grab, like, I think I've said this before. If he's like, I'm kneeling next to him, do you know what this little shit, I love him, but do you know what this little shit will grab onto for balance? My gobble wobble under my chin. You are so rude.
Oh.
So, I am sought after plenty enough. So is Georgio. Okay.
Well, at least we're sought after, honey.
Yes. At least. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Heather asks Lisa if she'd ever actually Heather's like saying to Lisa, like, do you think I would ever actually put Jack down? And Lisa's like, look, you wrote a book about being a bad Mormon. I'm trying to focus on my son being a good Mormon. And Angie and Monica again.
Oh, I love her so much.
I know. She gives the best sound bites. I'm sorry, she just does. And Angie's telling Monica she wishes she would have just pulled her aside and talked to her. And then Angie apparently made the grave mistake of saying, I've heard things about you, but I don't say anything. I wish you would. What is it? What was it? Foreclosure? Check. Divorce? Check. Affair? Check. What else do you want? I want it all. I stand in it all day, every day. I would never be like, how dare you tell me? And then we keep getting the cuts over to LD. I know your mother has looked at you like that before. My mother's looked at me like that plenty of times. That mom look where it's like, what are you doing?
Oh, when that camera was looking at Linda, I was like, Because one thing I will say, Greek people and Portuguese people, they're not the same, but they are very similar in a lot of ways. And that is one of the ways. The mom, the look.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, it just comes down to Monica trying to say, oh, everyone's talking shit on you and you hate me for saying it to your face. And then LD comes over and okay. I was I wish she hadn't done this. She shouldn't have done it because what she did was her mother changed the entire dynamic within the group toward Monica in a way that it wasn't necessary. Okay. Um, LD is not a housewife. She is her mother, much in the way if the men come get involved, not okay. Now, here's the thing if you feel like your daughter needs backup, that's one thing to me. Not in the way I don't think husbands need to always come in and swoop in, but if you, as a mom, it's a totally different relationship, right? And listen, that mother daughter relationship, that dynamic. Ooh, this is what I'm talking about, y'all, when I say that Jersey is so difficult. New Jersey Housewives is so difficult because family is so nuanced. We don't know if you don't know every little detail between people, you don't know what was triggered in someone and what was triggered in the other person. It's so hard to judge familial relationships like this. Yes, even husband wife, even romantic relationships, even like friendships are that way, but not like family dynamics. It's just we can't publicly judge it like that. We can't. We weren't there for all that stuff. And so it's really hard because all we can judge is what we're seeing right here. And personally, what I saw right here was Linda not grasping that she's interfering with the fucking paycheck. Do you want her to send you money for that house? Shut up for a second. Let her do what she needs to do. Did it give something for the cameras? Yes. But I don't think it did because listen, what if Monica, which I'm going to also say, there was a way for Monica to tell her mom to back the fuck off without actually saying to her, get the fuck out of my face. That was too much. That was too much. Don't say that because, but then at the end of the day, Monica, if she tells her mom to back off, no matter what, she's going to be the bad guy. But you don't say it that way. You don't. This whole thing got very bizarre, especially with the posts that came up afterward.
Yeah, it got dark real fast.
So her mom comes over. You're both beautiful, powerful women, but bury the hatchet. Portuguese and Greek were very similar. We're very passionate people, very passionate. But today's not the day for that. And Angie's saying they're not fighting. I think even Angie was kind of like, you don't need to butt in. I don't feel like Angie was even like Angie was being polite to her, of course, and being respectful. But okay, I'm going to preface for anyone watching YouTube right now. If our screens look a little different now, y'all, what we were talking about at the beginning of this episode with the service I use for recording, we got kicked out. And if I could show you the look on my face that was saved from when I was able to join back in, I literally look like I'm about to cry, probably because I was about to. I thought we had lost an hour of recording. Giorgio is being so patient with me right now. Okay. So we're going to try and get back over to this. So let's just, I'm going to do my best with the editing, friends. We've never had it be this much of a shit show before. We both agreed on that. Okay. So when LD comes over and interrupts, right? My impression was that Angie was kind of trying to let her know she didn't need to in the most polite and kind way, to not be like, it's not that you're not welcome. Does this make sense? Because I heard her saying we're not fighting whenever LD comes over.
So yes, this was the part that we couldn't get to because you kept freezing, and I wanted to answer this because maybe because I know Greek women, and it was not that you have to be Greek to read this, but some people didn't pick this up because I am reading comments that a lot of people were saying Angie was playing into the mom thing in front of Monica, and I
I
didn't
didn't think so.
perceive it that way. I perceived her as being welcoming to the mother,
Yeah.
being nice to the mom, being friendly and engaging, but not like pinning her mom. Like I didn't see that, and that's what
No.
I wanted to point out, and I'm glad you brought it up, was when the mom initially inserted herself, pulled the chair up, and literally sat in between the two of them. When
Mm-hmm.
Angie said, she even said, and I would love to finish the conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what she was essentially telling her mom was, I know you're being a mom right now, but we're
Mm-hmm.
filming a show.
There you
And if
go.
you cut in, you're going to mess with our sound bites. This is what people don't understand about reality TV. Yes, we have scenes where we see people screaming over each other and yelling
Right.
over each other and things like that. But in this moment, this was a clear shot moment that they needed to have.
Yep.
Okay. The mom should never have come over. She should have waited for her daughter to step away and
Mm-hmm.
then go and support your daughter or ask, what's going on? What are you doing? Or whatever you're going to do. Angie made it clear in a very, very polite, respectful way. Respectfully, Linda, you got to back out. This is between her and I.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fighting. We're good. I'm not yelling.
Mm-mm.
So don't make
Yeah.
that, because I think Angie knew that once the mother came over,
It's
that it was
over.
going to instantly become a scene. Because now
Yep.
it's going to deflect away from what they're talking about and it's going to go right to what it did.
Fully agree. And I also, and I want to be sensitive with how I say this too, because when Linda was speaking, as she is literally sitting next to Angie, and it's only the three of them, when Linda speaks in Portuguese to Monica, telling her to stop it, when it's just the three of them sitting there, and Angie goes, well, the only other language I speak is Greek. And that's when she grabs, her water. That was also Angie trying to let her know, like, that's kind of rude to do in my home when, I'm sitting right here. And I'm not saying that, she wasn't okay with someone speaking another language. I didn't take it that way. But it was, to me, it was kind of like, I had mixed feelings about it. Let me just put it that way. It took me watching it. When I watched it a second time, I took some of it differently when her mother was speaking to her in Portuguese. Because at first I was like, she's just kind of being an asshole about it. And then I was like, well, I thought about it a second, and I feel like that was, in my mind, the only portion of that where she was trying to be considerate of Monica, because I think it was her way of whispering to her instead of yelling at her. If I'm going to try and make this make better sense. It was her way of saying, stop it, instead of stop it. Because if she had said it in English to her, it would have made it even more clear and would have made even more of a scene. Does this make sense?
1000%. And this is why, I'm going to say this too, because I'm really getting, we haven't seen enough of Linda to be diagnosing her. We don't know what Linda did to Monica. We don't. So I have to say that people need to understand that her saying that to her in Portuguese was absolutely a shush moment. And my mother would have done the same thing. It had nothing to do with disrespecting Angie. I think Angie, what she meant was, I don't know what you're saying right
Right.
now. So
Right.
I'm going to grab my drink because I don't speak that language. So clearly this is just for her. But that wasn't I see, maybe I need to go watch it back again without the flooding of Monica's tweets.
Yeah, I'll
Because,
I'll get into that too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it just, to me, it doesn't paint a fair picture if we're going to go just off of Monica's narrative. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean, fair. The thing is though, and this is what's interesting. I was watching this with my mother, and there were moments that I absolutely saw my own mother and myself having a moment like this, easily. But the difference is my mom would have come at it at a certain point. She either would have just been like, fine, then I'm leaving. The party would not have been more important to her than if it was embarrassing her the way I was behaving. She would have said, fine, you stay at the party and embarrass yourself. I will leave. And that's what Linda should have done with the kids. I don't think diagnosing someone as a narcissist, we don't know enough. Okay. Now,
is it maybe narcissistic behavior? Yes. But we all have that then. Like, let's be real. The
sofa encounter. No, you wouldn't, Georgio, you wouldn't laugh in someone's face like the way she was at Monica. Listen.
No, I wouldn't laugh at her, but also we do not know what was leading up to all these things because clearly we missed a big part of something that we didn't get. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
it's confusing.
It is confusing. So are you deflecting to take attention away because you're embarrassed? Because if that's the case, yes, then say that was embarrassing for me to watch back.
Yeah.
I clearly need to work on that. But now it seems like we're all turning our fingers to Linda and saying, oh, well, Linda did this and Linda did that. And my mom would never do that. And my mom absolutely would do this. Or, so yes, she shouldn't have laughed. And no, she should have left. She shouldn't have come. How about that? She shouldn't have come.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at with this. Monica, you have a prop. This is where I think people lose me. What I'm saying, Monica, you are aware of that, the fact that your mom traumatized you as a child, essentially. You're also aware that she triggers you. But let's be very 100. Wasn't it not just last episode or the episode before last where Monica and her mom took their grandmother to the Senior Citizens Activity Center? And didn't Monica's grandmother have to actually get up and tell Monica to shush it because she's being disrespectful? Was what Monica was saying wrong? No, it's her delivery and her where you're at. Look where you're at.
Well, that's part of where the snowball, like it was a small thing, it just snowballed. To put it more simply than the way I was about to say. I think that a lot of women, it was very reminiscent of being a teenage girl with your mother. And listen, my mom was going through menopause when I was like my 8th of 8th grade. That's when that started for her. It was a nightmare for the two of us. Okay. And it didn't stop for a while. I mean, teenage years. And that's where a lot of even just like people who have good relationships with their parents. I mean, listen, I was like, oh my God. I think, again, do I think Monica was wrong saying, hey, stay out of it? No, I think just like you said, it was her delivery saying, get the fuck out of my face. If I said that to my mother in private, I couldn't imagine. I can't imagine anyone I know doing that and being serious.
Okay, I'm not going to be blind here and think that no one's gotten into a altercation with their mom at some point, whether it be through teenage years, menopause, whatever have you. This is how I feel about this, is Monica didn't read the room. And I also think Monica brought her mom on this show to punish her. That's what I think. Monica is using her as a whipping post to take out all of her trauma and aggression. And she's using it as a stepping stone to try. I also was thinking that her mom was trying to help Monica by not ruining her chances of staying on the show by acting like a complete fool in this moment. And I think it got lost on her. But is she narcissistic? Sure. But is she an actual narcissist? I do not know. I don't know how Linda raised Monica. I wasn't there for that.
No. Yeah.
Neither was
Absolutely.
anybody else. None of y'all were either. So
I'm trying to find, because listen, I could like go through exactly what was said back and forth, and I know some of y'all tune in for me to do that, but this in particular, I don't feel like I need to totally accept touch on a few things that were said. I'm sorry, I'm trying to close some windows and pull them up, and so the crux of the issue was, now the way Monica's mom kept saying, come with me to the bathroom. Why don't you go to the bathroom? She needed to leave her the fuck alone at that point. She needed to back off. If she just needed to back off. And she even and here's where I'm gonna point something out to you. She literally knows that Monica needs space when she's like that. I'm that way. If I actually get mad now, I don't pop off the way Monica was. Okay. I don't. When I do, it takes a lot more than this. But if I'm at that point personally, and it seems like she was, and her mother knows, even when Whitney came over to her and said, where's Monica? Should I go talk to her? No, 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 no. She needs her space when she's like this. Then why the fuck would you not leave her alone when she had gotten up and walked away? That is where I don't buy the full thing that Linda was on her side. She would have left her the fuck alone, let her go cool off somewhere across the room if she had her full best interests. And that's something that I'm telling you, if she had just left it alone, I don't think a lot of us who are on that side of it would feel this way. I genuinely, you don't like, she knows her daughter. She knows hounding her to, why don't you come to the bathroom? Come to the bathroom. Well, I'll tell you what, usually when you're a kid and your mom, if you grew up in the 90s, if mom's like, come with me to the bathroom, you're about to go get your butt whooped. That's the way it was. So that was also the connotation of, you come with me to the bathroom. Like, don't tell me to calm down. Leave it alone for a minute. She knew she needed space. I'm telling you, that to me was very clear.
Okay. Did she keep doing it over excessively? Yes. I don't take it as she meant come to the bathroom because I'm going to lay into you. I read it as, you need a timeout. We need to sync up because I don't know what you're doing right now. Like,
right.
You have to remember, her mom, as much as she may like the attention, okay, she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. Let's be honest. She doesn't. Monica does, though.
No, she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. And I don't think she was I'm not saying the connotation was that I'm going to yell at you. But if we're talking about how people are, whatever triggers are, me as an adult, my mother saying to me, you come with me to the bathroom. Not like I know it wasn't, I don't believe it was I'm going to lay into you. I don't think my mother would be saying that as a way to lay into me, but childhood, Caitlin, because we're talking Monica clearly, as we're saying, she is really she even says at the end of the episode about little Monica. Childhood Monica is going, my mom is trying to like play a power move and show everyone that she knows better than I do. And when she's saying, your girls are in here. Now, I know you're going to think it's a reach, but I know there are people out here who are going to understand what I'm saying on this. When someone says something like that, I swear to God, that's when you start going, now you're talking about my fucking parenting. That is exactly where your brain goes. The fuck you saying about my girls being in the room, my children being in the room? I know my children are in the room. I don't need you to remind me that. Was Monica behaving in a way she should in front of her kids? No. But what I'm trying to point now to is where Monica's head's going and where I believe her head's going, because I know where my head would be going regardless. You have now brought my parenting into it. And that's when it really started going off. And again, it's like when you're pissed off and someone's just like, what's wrong? Calm down. Come here. Come talk over here. Come talk over here. I'm going to be like, if you don't get away from me for a second, I'm going to say something rude, and I don't want to say something rude. Monica had already gone there. That's the problem. She wasn't she didn't have that self-control at that point. I also find it odd because I would expect that behavior from someone who maybe had been drinking. She didn't seem like she'd been drinking much to me.
She doesn't need to drink to get there. That's the
No.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I hear what you're saying totally. Monica asked her mother to come on the show. Monica knows what this show entails. It means you've got to get into fights with people. It means you've got to throw. She came ready with all her rumors. You saw how proud she was to yell
Yeah.
them out at Angie.
It's her tagline.
Foreclosure. Check. Sleep with your brother-in-law. Check. Like, she was proud to have that in her back pocket because she knew somebody might try to bring it up. She
Sure.
studied the show.
Oh,
My
yeah.
problem with this is because she studied the show so much, she is manipulating the audience, in my opinion, with the trauma that she clearly is aware of. She's aware. She's aware of little Monica, and she needs. But what is she doing with little Monica?
Mm-hmm.
Because I sit very close to something very similar to this. I'm not going to go into detail because it'll expose who, but they are very, very close. I'll just say that. And I'm not saying they're the exact same. They're all different. But if you're going to talk about a narcissistic mother, yeah, I'm not negating that Linda's not narcissistic, but Monica's not innocent either,
Right.
is what I'm trying to say. She pokes at her mom in the same ways that her mom pokes at her. Why? Because they're the same person, and that's why they don't like each other. So if Monica really, really was concerned about building a better relationship with her mother, she wouldn't have brought her on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She would have brought her to family therapy and worked that shit out, not for the sake of her mom, but for the sake of Monica and her daughters. Because can I be honest with you as well? Monica's oldest daughter seems more like the mother in the room than anybody else. So that to me screams like, well, what's going on at home, Monica? Are you repeating what your mom's done to you? So is it payback time, or are you really trying to resolve something, or are you guys all making this up for the show? It could be any of those things.
Listen, there were very good points made there. I just want you to know that. Because listen, some of the fights I've had with my mother growing up, even now, what am I going to try and act like we haven't gotten into it at all?
Seriously.
We are so much alike. And that tends to happen. That is not something unusual, right? And so here's where also that can lend to the argument that Georgio is making as well, which, okay. Now, I also want to preface that the way I look at all of this between the two of them, I said this to you earlier. If we were on the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? I would be saying everyone sucks here. That would be my verdict. Okay, period. So Monica tweeted yesterday that after falling down Angie's stairs at Greek Easter because you had no railing, everyone's saying I left my mom. Yes, I did, and went straight to the hospital, and she knew I fell down the stairs. My conversation with her on the couch was after the fall. Okay, do I believe she probably fell down some stairs? Because when I noticed the way she was sitting, she did kind of have her feet up in a weird way. So this makes sense and lends to a theory that there was a lot of stuff we didn't see. What's interesting now is that Angie tweeted back at her, production did you a favor. We don't need to see stills to know, because she posted pictures of her gashed up legs and bruised up legs. We don't need to see stills to know you did this in front of your kids. Don't forget you almost hit my 2-year-old niece in the head with your shoe when you threw it. And then she says, an STFU with your lies about Sean. Now, Lisa backs up on Twitter what Angie says. So there was something more that happened.
Yes.
Okay. Clearly.
Yes.
Now, if she's throwing a shoe, yeah, then Linda did need to go over and tell her to stop. So that's where but we can only we have to remember, we can only go off of what we're seeing. And when we take We take the first part at
That's the
face
thing.
value. So at one point, we'll take that at face value, right? And then now I've got, y'all, if you knew how many tabs I have open, I'm trying to find what Linda.
I have it if you need me to read it to you.
I would love for you to read it because
I read
can't
it
go through
earlier
any
with
more
such
tabs.
I almost read it like she would read it. She said,
Linda went to Twitter and posted this, or X, whatever, excuse me.
and guys, if for all of you asking how her mom got verified so quickly, it's because Twitter, you can buy your verification badge. So calm down.
True.
She goes, Monica begged me to do this reality show with her. Begged. I didn't want to do it. She told me all I had to do was cook and speak Portuguese. How did she return the favor? She did me dirty. Meanwhile, I would never compete with my only child, unless it's sports. It's too smart to try to go up against Monica. She'd chew me up and spit me out. Lastly, I never abandoned her. I always put her needs above my own, even in her adulthood. I'm not a perfect human, but I am a devoted mother and Vovo. God bless us, everyone.
Okay. I'm going to tell you one more thing that stands out to me. The way I have no problem with her going over for a second and just being like, I'm so sorry, but and apologizing on Monica's behalf. Fine. But then when she's like, can we have fun now? I want to have fun. And it was like, that is where that, and I'm going to tell you too, the red flags with Linda for me went up when Monica was talking to her and she's explaining to her, can you watch the girls when I go on this trip? Now, I'm going to tell you, as someone who I very much rely on my mother to help me with my son. And I want to start by saying that is a privilege. That is not a right. That is not something any of us are entitled to. Let me start there.
Yes.
And our grandparents are not free daycare. Okay.
No.
Anytime my mom's willing to watch him, I am just grateful, and I try and just, keep it clean and be back as fast as possible. Right. Neither here nor there. Now, when her mother was responding to her, because this is for work, okay? This is for this paycheck she's getting. If she were just going on vacation, I'm going to tell you it'd be a totally different story. Yes, people deserve to go on vacation, but if you have the money to go on like a regular vacation and you don't want to take your children, then you need to be able to take care of that, right? That being said, there was something when she was trying to explain to her mother her daughter's schedules. And the way she was like, well, how long are you going to be gone? And she supposedly was only going to be gone for like 3 days, right? As much as her mother is over there, I did find it odd that she didn't know any of the girls' schedules. Now there are 4 of them. So it's a lot of schedules to know. I don't know how parents do this in general, but she just didn't seem like she was the responsible parent. And it seems like she and Monica are more like sisters than they are mother-daughter. Does that make sense?
So then why is Monica enlisting her to watch her children all the time?
Sometimes you don't have much of a choice, but.
Well, you do. If you find your mom to be that narcissistic and you hate her where you want a different mom, you're going to leave your kids with that woman? Really?
See, that's why I'm saying it's so nuanced to try and understand that.
But then you've got to then you have to either accept that you have a narc mother and build up the tolerance and defense system to protect yourself. Or you've got to not cut ties, but distance. Don't have her watch
boundaries.
Don't give boundaries. Exactly. I don't expect you to disconnect from her, never speak to her again. That's your mother. But healthy boundaries are okay. But you can't jump on the fence. You can't shit on her and then the next day say, hey, can you watch my kids?
Right. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all.
No, and I don't disagree with that.
And I don't defend Linda. Again, I sound like I am. I'm not. I see Linda for what she's doing. I
don't hear you defending her.
She's opportunistic in the moment. I see that. I do. And
the thing about the edit, now looking at what's possibly transpired that we didn't see,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the edit really odd. Now I do want to go watch that scene again because I want to watch it closely. It doesn't seem like it was in sync.
It's confusing now. And let me say this. I don't think you're actually defending Linda. I think you're criticizing Monica's flip-flopping and being one, almost like two-faced. And again,
Not
this is
two-faced, because I get that like it's still her mom. She's gonna lean on her. I guess if you're gonna go so hard in your interviews, when you say stuff, I'm sorry, Caitlin, when you say I wish I had a different mother,
that's
then
painful.
why is she coming on the show with you other than you want to do exactly what you're doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that make you look better to your daughters though?
No, listen, the only way I can look at this is if I put the shoe on my foot. That's just the way it's easier for me to try and answer things that way. If it's me, I'm thinking, well, one, I don't have a husband. I don't have a partner, but neither does Heather. But Heather is established on the show. So that takes that reasoning why the deductive reasoning is what's happening. For any other possible way. Is it that when they were scouting her out for it, looking at her, that they said, oh, your mother they probably saw them have spats and things like that and said, she has to be on the show with you. No,
because she was probably at
her
her house all the time watching her kids. Like, that's my point. They wouldn't have had her. They probably told Monica, yeah, if you bring your mom, for sure, because that's a full story right there.
Yes.
So yeah, I could see Monica being like, Mom, please come on. This will clearly help me with the kids, get me more financially stable. That's why I go back to the part where the mom initially picks up on the fact that there might possibly be a pop-off session with her daughter, where she's like in her head as a narc mother. Oh no. Oh no, we're all about appearances. I don't need everyone to think we're trash. Hold on, sweetie. We're all strong, beautiful women. We can manage. Where's the fun? Do you guys play sports? Wow.
That was weird. That was fucking weird.
Awkward filling of the you know what I mean? So yes, no, she didn't handle it well at all, but Monica just takes it to a point where you can't it's hard, man, to defend it. Unless her mom punched her in the face in that scene, I would be like, I don't know. I also wasn't there for the full duration. So, I try to keep, but they're giving Monica the strong voice in all this. So I have
when her mother went over, I'm going to come sit with the guys. So, boys, who played college ball? I'm sorry. Did you not crack up a little bit that Justin was like,
oh, of course it is like volleyball.
Well,
he played volleyball or something.
And it was John Barlow, and John's just kind of like,
Are you disrespecting John Barlow right now?
No, I'm saying he was just like,
no,
not
I was.
amused.
Remember when Lisa Barlow said that at the reunion? Oh, are you disrespecting John Barlow right now?
I was like, oh my God, no, Georgio, I wouldn't mean, oh my God. Yeah. So like, then we get to when Monica and her mother are sitting there. I'm sorry, I didn't see Monica getting massacred. I'm going to say that right now. Monica says to her mother when she comes over to sit by her that she's grateful. I'm sorry, let me back up. She goes to sit with her and she says she wants to go dance, which again, like, then go fucking dance. Why are you over here talking to me? That's the way I'd be like, then go dance. Why are you sitting here speaking with me?
This is even more weird if in fact she had just fallen down them stairs. I'm not laughing at her falling down the stairs. I'm laughing at how bizarre that they had the nerve to say, now go over there and sit next to your daughter who just literally fell down the fucking stairs and busted up her legs. And tell her you want to dance.
And telling her you want to dance? The fuck?
Hey, baby, I know you just busted your ass, but come on, I want to dance.
So weird. So Monica ends up telling her that she's grateful for moments like this because it reminds her of what she doesn't ever want to do with her kids, and that she's not gonna let them feel alone and sit there and be massacred. But then her mother is smiling and laughing at her. That like you come
You
on,
know why?
that's another
She's
red
laughing
flag.
at her. You know why?
Hmm.
Because she's like, yes, you will.
Hmm.
Yes, you will. Watch. That's what that was about. It wasn't laughing at it like, oh no. It was like, okay, sure. Sure,
Hmm.
Monica.
I don't know. Yeah. I guess it didn't
Her
it didn't
mom
occur
knows
to
how
me.
to her mom
Yeah.
knows how to poke her. The same way
Exactly.
Monica knows how to poke Linda. They both,
Mm-hmm.
they're here. They see each other.
Can you they would drive me nuts.
You would never be able to go anywhere with them.
No. She called her a heartless person after she was like, "Is this fucking funny to you?" It is funny to me. That's not wrong
No,
response,
that
Linda.
wasn't funny, especially if she had just fallen.
Oh
Imagine
my
now,
God.
we didn't know that part. So knowing from Monica's standpoint that she just fell and that's why she's sitting over there like that, and her mom's over there being
Now, Monica, as we as we spoke on earlier, she was, in confessional after she leaves with her kids that she's feeling, you know, bad for little Monica, and she wishes she had a different relationship with her mom, and that, she says she wishes she didn't want a different mom, but she says she wants a different mom. Okay. And
Mhm.
then it ends off with Angie and Lisa talking about how bad they feel for Monica's mom. Lisa's just like, I feel bad for her mom. Um, and then the mid-season trailer, oh my God. So my friend Emily Hanks from She Speaks Bravo, she posted about this, so I don't want to just take full credit for what she was saying about it, but it looks like Meredith is finally leaning into villain era because clearly that's what was going on whenever Lisa follows Monica when Monica's like sobbing on their trip into the bathroom saying, "Why would she do this to you?" And, Meredith ends up saying in confessional, it comes to a point when you're accused of something over and over and over again. You may as well do it. Is that a threat? And I guess when we saw in the original trailer when Whitney was yelling, "You exploded my vagina" at Heather, it was about Heather writing about her in her book. Um, then we see Angie making fun of Whitney, and Whitney looks big mad. Heather tells someone that she just got info that was really devastating. And then Mary is telling Monica to trust no one. And Heather is dressed like a pirate saying, "It is a complete betrayal, Meredith. Tonight happened because of what you said to Monica." Clearly, going back to when Monica was running away crying. And Lisa is yelling at people in this cut, "What did you do?" And then Angie is slamming her shot glass down. "Don't talk about me." And then Meredith tells Lisa, "I am not the one bringing the tornado. Karma comes back." And then we see Meredith wide eyed laying in a hospital bed. That clearly was not from the almost car crash she had last week.
No.
Wow. I just want y'all to know if we look tired, it's because of all technical issues. Giorgio, you are an angel of patience.
Tell that to my comment section today. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, depends on
Listen, I'm going to tell everybody right now. I know a lot of you are pissed off with me. It's okay. Some days I'm going to piss you off, and
same.
that's quite okay. But most of the time, you guys like me, so I'll take it. I'll take it as it comes. But it's not that bad. I understand. There's nuances to this stuff, and people are triggered
Sure.
in different facets. I totally respect that and empathize. I too was triggered, not so much from that, from other things at that Greek Easter, but
Mm,
like I I just I don't like it when it seems like we're getting one strong
I hear you.
narrative about something and we don't Like, we don't know Linda, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying she's amazing and she was a great mom. Again, I wasn't there. She might have been a shitty mom. And to Monica's point, she might be validating every single one of her feelings. But then, my love, if she was my friend, I would say it the same way I said it publicly. Come on. What do we got to do to get you to create a boundary to make your life healthier for yourself? That's what I would want to focus on. That's all I'm saying. I love Monica. I think she's great for the show. I want to say that again. Was this behavior disappointing? Yeah, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
It's like, what, episode 7 or 8?
We've got time.
Something clearly happens to her, as we saw in the trailer. So who is this woman that did this? And are they talking about Meredith? Or I think they're talking about Meredith.
Yeah, because at first I was like, I thought it was like maybe something her mom said or did. And I think
that's what I thought too.
Yeah. Yeah. Georgio, thank you again for being here and your ever enduring patience. Oh my God. Y'all
this is prepping us for BravoCon, by the way, when we try to podcast from there.
Fucking God. Yeah, y'all keep an eye on my Instagram stories. And it's my social media handle that's probably just going to change. So don't worry. The podcast will, as far as I'm concerned, be Besties by Bravo for all of eternity. You can find Georgio on all the platforms at Georgio Says. Also, be sure and check out his podcast, Georgio Says. Are you back at Monday, Wednesday, Friday now? Are we?
Can I give a little update here? Because I haven't.
Please.
Thank you. So,
yeah.
So I want to be transparent. I have not had a new episode in a week and a half, and that is for a reason. Caitlin knows about it, but Natalie and myself, Femtero, some of you may be familiar with. I've collaborated with her in the past. She and I have launched a new podcast called Creating the Creator. And so last week was launch week for us. So there was a lot of things to get prepared for. And if any of you even remotely know anything about podcasting, you know how much time goes into the planning, especially when you're interviewing guests. So I do apologize. I did not stop. I'm not stopping podcasting. I know some of you missed out on some of the recaps. I will be back next week. Monday through Friday is typically the schedule. But that is why you've not seen me on my podcast. But speaking of Creating the Creator, tonight at midnight EST, our new episode for Creating the Creator drops with our conversation with Zach Peter from No Filter. So check that out. But yes, thank you for allowing me the space to clarify, because I didn't want to take up an episode of my own just to say that.
The amount of patience you've had with me today, you absolutely get to take up the space here. And also, friends, I'm just gonna let you know, I had full intention of recording 2 episodes today, but the issues we had, I don't know how else to explain that. It cannot happen. I'm going to try and record just an audio podcast tomorrow. So forget, I love you, YouTube, but this is going to be it for this week. I'm going to try and do some Southern Charm, but it just depends on how much willpower I have left in me. I believe next week is going to be my week to get it all done, but next week is the final week before I leave for the con. And my fucking God, I know you're sick of hearing about it, but also, don't you want to hear all the tea that's going on? Because we are going all the places and doing all the things. So,
we
okay,
are
leave
doing
a cute
all
review.
the things.
Yes,
leave a review, subscribe, do everything, please. Hit the notification bell,
please. Damn it. All right, love you, besties. I will see you next week. Okay.
bye.
Bye.